I've been planning on doing this review for some time. It's a review of the Atkins age-defying diet. I've done a review of this book, I believe, in the past, but I wanted to do a better review now that I'm more familiar with YouTube and how to present myself. Okay, now first I'm going to go over what's covered in the book. A program for age-defying, where he breaks down how to create an age-defying program, how he did it, what is in the book. The aging diseases of our time and place, where he goes over what are the diseases of aging. The heart of the matter, where he talks about the heart disease. It's in the blood, nutrition and heart disease, where he talks about the cause, the correlation and causation of nutrition and heart disease. Why we age, the insulin connection. Not enough people are talking about insulin anymore, especially in the vegan community. Not enough people are talking about insulin. Now, Dr. Atkins isn't a vegan, but I'm going to get into that when I finish up here. Why we age, free radicals. Now remember, the free radical theory of aging has not been disproven despite what people think, and I'm going to leave links to my videos on that, and there's links in the description of those videos showing that it has not been disproven, and how oxidative stress does cause the diseases of aging, and causes senescence, which is aging. Everybody wants to say, hey, the concept of free radicals has been disproven as far as it goes to aging. And I know this because I went to Cambridge. Okay, antioxidants are vital nutrients. The antioxidant enzymes. Why you need carotenoids. Carotenoids are plant chemicals. The benefits of bioflavonoids. Bioflavonoids are important plant chemicals, which I'm going to get into when I do the epigenetic/informational theory of aging. Bioflavonoids and carotenoids are both phytochemicals, but bioflavonoids, the carnivore dieters are all, oh my god, they're gonna kill you, bioflavonoids are toxic, blah blah blah. I'll get into that when I do my video on the informational theory of aging and hormesis, but that's not what I'm going to get into in this. Reversing declining hormone levels, where he talks about pregnenolone or pregnenolone or whatever, DHEA, and other hormones that you can take to optimize your hormone levels. Hormones that turn back the clock. Now remember, what's important is he talks about DHEA and pregnenolone or something. I forget how to say it off the top of my head. But he talks about the importance of DHEA, okay? It has been shown in research that DHEA, along with a couple other drugs, reverse the immunoaging of the body. It reverses immunoaging. I believe it was like 7 years it turned back the clock in elderly people. Good fats and really bad fats. He talks about trans fats. At the time of this book, that was groundbreaking stuff. Now, also with the bioflavonoids, what people don't understand, everybody wants to diss Dr. Atkins, mostly like Dr. Greger, Dr. McDougall, all these people. Now, Dr. Atkins talks about the how putting milk in tea basically negates the purpose of drinking the tea, because the proteins in the milk or the cream bind to the bioflavonoids, deactivating them and making it impossible for them to enter the, to work, so they don't do their job. And that was being talked about by Dr. Atkins. I forget the year of this book. I'll look for it at the end of this. But that was long before nutritionfacts.org existed. Dr. Atkins was talking about the benefits of bioflavonoids, okay? Just so people know that. And also, Dr. Atkins, unlike Dr. Greger, successfully treated thousands of people with his concepts. Just saying. Okay, building your immunity. Detoxifying your body, exercise. He talks about the importance of exercise and mentions stretching. Not a lot of people mention stretching these days, okay? Boosting your brain power, creating your age-defying diet. The age-defying diet, the basics. Living the age-defying diet. Your age-defying Vitanutrient plan. Now, anybody that does not own the Vitanutrient solution should buy a copy of the Vitanutrient Solution. It's Dr. Atkins' Vitanutrient Solution. It's a book that he wrote. It really does show you how to treat your illness is with what he calls Vitanutrients, which are vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, amino acids, enzymes, what do you call it, probiotics, what people call nutraceuticals now. And I believe nutraceutical was actually a term coined by Dr. Nicholas Perricone, if I'm not mistaken. And then putting it all together. Now, what's important about this book? This book is groundbreaking stuff because it shows you how to literally create an age-defying plan that actually works. More importantly, he puts nutrient mixes in here for you that you can do. Now, Atkins Nutritionals, before the Atkins family sold it and it just went into foods, the Atkins Nutritional Company did used to actually sell vitamin supplements. Now, however, like my views on pre-compounded vitamin supplements, you tend not to always get enough of it because it's impossible to fit it into the pills unless you're taking like 10 pills a day, you know. But some of the Vitanutrient Solution that he has are now I'm not going to give all this away, of course. But he has, now remember, he's successfully used these formulas to treat patients of his. Dr. Atkins was a cardiologist that had many successes. And a lot of people will go, oh, well, the Atkins diet is da-da-da-da-da. I've pointed out how the Atkins diet can be as healthy or unhealthy as you want it to be, but the goal of the Atkins diet was weight loss. And you can lose weight eating very unhealthfully, or you can lose weight eating very healthfully. You can do that. You can do both on the Atkins diet. You can eat unhealthfully or you can eat healthfully. It's your choice, okay? But what the Atkins diet does not do, the Atkins diet is a vegetable-based diet, despite what people think. And I'm going to get into this when I do a review of the Atkins New Diet Revolution. The Atkins diet is centered around non-starchy, low-carbohydrate vegetables, okay? When I managed a weight loss group, okay, one of the problems people had with the Atkins diet was they would complain they couldn't go to the bathroom. They couldn't go to the bathroom. They couldn't go to the bathroom. This is because they were not eating the recommended amounts of vegetables. Okay? If you eat the recommended amounts of vegetables and you're getting your 8 to 10 glasses of water or whatever a day, you're going to be fine, generally speaking, unless you have some strange medical issue, going to the bathroom. Okay? People will say, I couldn't poop for a week or something like that. Number one, you should be going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day. I mean, and that's the thing, is you should be getting enough fiber and water, and you're going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day. Bowel movements 2 to 3 times a day. That's according to people like Dr. Terry Walls, Dr. Joel Wallach, Dr. What's his name? Joel Furman. You know, we Americans do not get enough fiber, do not get enough fluid, do not get enough nutrients. We're starving to death while we're obese in this country. But some of the Vitanutrient formulas, which are just compounded formulas that he offers, are for heart and vascular health, for cholesterol, for high cholesterol, okay, for hypertension, for prediabetes, for diabetes. He goes over nutrients for menopause, nutrients for brain health, nutrient formulas for weight loss, for dementia, what he calls brain nutrients, for menopausal symptoms, for osteoporosis, for male reproductive health. I mean, these are formulas that he had used successfully in his practice. One of the things that separates people like Dr. Atkins and Dr. Joel Furman from a lot of these other authors, like, say, Dr. what's-his-face? Dr. oh my gosh, Dr. Greger. Dr. Atkins and Dr. Furman had active practices. I think Dr. Furman still does have an active practice in New Jersey. This is the same thing with like even though Dr. McDougall I think is insane, it's the same truth with Dr. McDougall, okay? You should look to people that have active health practices that are actually fixing people's problems, okay? That's what you need to understand. Now, what I want to get into is obviously the Atkins age-defying diet recommends that you eat a lot of plants. A lot of plants containing a lot of things like bioflavonoids and berries. Okay, a lot of people are confused. They think that they think Dr. Robert C. Atkins was a one-trick pony. He was not a one-trick pony. The Atkins weight loss diet is one diet that Atkins put out, okay? One diet. He successfully treated people with other diets for other health concerns. However, lowering total carbohydrate intake has benefits for a myriad of health concerns, okay? So that is why all of his books tend to favor lowering carbohydrate. In the Atkins age-defying diet, he promotes the use of berries. He promotes the use of things like carotenoid-rich foods like carrots and tomatoes and things like that. But he also points out, like with sweet potatoes, okay? With sweet potatoes, if you have trouble controlling your triglyceride levels, remember I brought up how I was following the starch solution and my triglycerides went way up, okay? They went way up from the starch, okay? So, like Atkins points out, if you're having trouble controlling your triglycerides, maybe you shouldn't be getting your carotenoids from only sweet potatoes. Maybe you should look for a lower carbohydrate food that has carotenoids, like green leafy vegetables or something like that. My point is that Dr. Atkins's programs are far more well thought out than other people's programs. One of the things that he pointed out in the Great Nutrition Debate is how he gives his patients, he will give them allergy tests. So at his practice, nobody's on the same diet because they would do tests to make sure that they were not feeding these people allergenic foods. I would highly recommend anybody interested in actually aging healthfully or reducing the aging process, read this book. Read this book. Regardless of what you think of Dr. Atkins, the information in this is backed by science. And I'm going to talk about that when I do my review of Dr. Joel Wallach's book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. A lot of people have called, now Wallach and Atkins share a similar issue. They promote the use of supplementation, okay? And they sell supplements. That bit Dr. Atkins in the ass. It also bites Joel Wallach in the ass. It also bites Dr. Furman in the ass. Dr. Joel Furman in the ass. The problem is, like Dr. Wallach pointed out, and like Dr. Atkins points out, and like Dr. Furman points out from time to time, to optimize your health, you cannot get optimal nutrition from your diet. There are things that you are not going to get enough of from food. For example, Dr. Wallach points out the trace minerals that are just not in food, okay? With Dr. Atkins and Dr. Perricone and Dr. Furman, things like alpha-lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, certain fatty acids. These are not creatine. These are not things that you're going to get from food. It doesn't matter if you eat a perfectly balanced omnivorous diet, okay? Even B12. B12, people don't understand this. B12, every vegan should be taking B12. That goes without saying, okay? But the fact of the matter is, omnivores have B12 deficiencies too. A lot of omnivores probably should be supplementing with B12 and B-complex vitamins also. Nobody says that. Vitamin D, if you're not going out in the sun and you're a vegan, you're not going to get that from food. You're probably not going to get enough of it from food if you're an omnivore, unless you prefer things like liver and fatty fish and things of that nature. Most people don't. When I was an omnivore and a pescatarian, I ate a lot of mackerel and a lot of things like that. High in vitamin D. Lots of pescatarians and omnivores, or I should say omnivores, do not like fatty fish. A lot of pescatarians do not like fatty fish. The texture is, it's not quite nice. People don't know how to eat for function. Okay? I think that's a problem too many people have, is they don't understand the necessity of eating foods that are going to result in health promotion. That's a big problem throughout the United States. But my point, long story short, I would highly recommend the book. In closing, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dentist. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not a naturopathic physician. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not any of these things. Don't take my advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. There will be a disclaimer in the description. And that's all for this video.